ABC's mid-season police procedural comes to us courtesy of a best-selling book series. Let's talk about Will Trent. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It, and welcome to my TV review for Will Trent, the new ABC show. This is a police procedural that you can see on Tuesday nights on ABC, but of course you can catch up anytime on Hulu, as most of the ABC shows have. And Tuesday night becoming a good police block for ABC. They've got The Rookie and the new show Rookie Feds, and now they've got Will Trent on as well. So before we launch into this review and the specifics of the show, I want to welcome you to Dan Reviews It. Thank you for finding this video. I used to do TV news and reviews every week. We took 5 or 6 brand new shows, usually 6, and lumped them in with, about 15 minutes worth of TV news. But my schedule has changed so that it's just too much to watch all of that TV. So I'm picking, 2 or 3 shows every week that are catching my fancy, something I might think is interesting or something that's getting a lot of buzz. That certainly is the case here for Will Trent. A lot of people falling in love with this series. And it comes to us from a book series, which I was unfamiliar with, but Karen Slaughter is the author of the Will Trent series. And the star of this show, Ramon Rodriguez, I was not super familiar with him, but he has done a bunch of TV work before. The Wire, which I still have not seen, I know, but he was also on the Showtime series The Affair. He was on a Fox show called Gang Related, which I think maybe lasted 1 season. So he's popped up in a few different shows. So you may recognize him a little more than I did. The person I recognize the most here is Erica Christensen from Parenthood. She's in this program as well. And there's some fun guest stars in the first couple episodes as well, but I don't think we'll be seeing them too much more in the series because they were sort of part of the case, and it's a procedural, so there's a few people we see every week, and everybody else sort of comes and goes. But the basic premise here is this guy, Will Trent, has a whole background that we learn about in the first episode or two. Him and the Erica Christensen character, have a great background together that they discuss and let us in on. But he essentially was in foster care. He was abandoned as a child, and so he sort of takes that baggage with him in order to help other people in similar situations, perhaps. So he joins the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, the GBI, as opposed to the FBI, which I had not heard that before, but makes sense. I guess every state probably has their own. And also he suffers from dyslexia, which comes up a few times here in these first couple episodes. But despite all of these things, he's got a great eye for detail and becomes a good GBI agent in the process. However, he is partnered with someone who he also, sort of unbeknownst to him, has a history with. I won't go into any of the details. We don't really do spoilers with new TV shows or movies, so we'll kind of leave it at that. But there's some interesting things there as well. Yeah, so this is one of the many shows in long lines that ABC has. They do very well with shows sort of the police variety, although sometimes it goes a little off kilter for that. I'm thinking specifically of Castle, which the Rookie's Nathan Fillion was brought to us originally on ABC anyway from Castle. We know him from, well, I haven't seen it, but you all know him from Firefly and all that stuff. But Castle, was a huge show for him. I think it ran maybe 7 or 8 seasons on ABC. And that was sort of a book series too, but it was a book series after the fact because he was a writer on the character Castle. Well, anyway, that's a whole other review, but the character of Castle was a writer, and so they made books with him sort of writing, the character sort of writing them. But anyway, so the books came after that. But he went from Castle to The Rookie, and both of those shows and Will Trent, they all sort of have this common theme of having a little bit of fun with the typical police procedural. I feel like if you watch one of the Law and Order shows or one of the Chicago shows on NBC, or on CBS, the CSIs and NCIS and FBI and Navy SEALs and the hundreds of shows that they've had on CBS over the last 10 or 15 years that are all sort of the same kind of premise. there's not a lot of humor. We see the gruesome nature of whatever the thing is at the beginning, and then they try to figure it out and CSI this thing and whatever. But ABC, they like to have fun with some of their procedurals, and it shows. And I think that's why people like me, I think, are a little more drawn to the ABC ones as opposed to some of the other ones. Like Magnum PI on CBS, that had some fun. There was some fun there. That has moved to NBC. I think that starts maybe this week or next week, but that got moved to NBC. But in any event, ABC sort of revels in these shows: Castle, The Rookie, and now you've got Will Trent, and they're having a sense of, okay, this character is smart. They are doing their best to solve the case, but we have a little bit of fun along the way with the character. There's some sort of, funny jokes in there, and the characters themselves are quirky and that kind of thing. It's not like Brooklyn Nine-Nine necessarily, where it's, a straight up sitcom, but, the quirky nature of the characters really, I think, lends itself to this type of a show. Because personally, I don't really like watching standard cop shows. I've never really liked Law and Order, all the shows I've mentioned. I don't even know if I've ever seen CSI. I know there's been, 4 different or 5 different iterations and hundreds of episodes. I don't know if I've ever seen a minute of a CSI show, because that kind of stuff just does not appeal to me. It's nitty gritty. It's like, I kind of watch TV to escape from this sort of thing, and that's why I love shows like The Rookie and Castle, and now you can add Will Trent to that mix. They're having a lot of fun here. And this dude, like I said, I don't really know him from anything, but you may. Ramon Rodriguez, he's a great leading man here on this show. He's got a really good chemistry with all of the facets of his co-stars, because you've got Erica Christensen, you've got his partner, you've got his boss, and he sort of relates to each one of them separately. It's not just sort of a stock, okay, this is Will Trent and this is how he talks to everybody, and even the people in his case, he sort of speaks differently to them as well. And it doesn't seem, the characters does not seem put on. It doesn't seem like, okay, I'm going to do an affectation to coerce a confession or whatever out of this person. He seems to just really be genuinely talking to them as that character. And so I really like that too, because I think there's a lot of that sort of bait and switch stuff in some of the other, heavier hitting dramas that I mentioned, that we don't see here. I think he is a really, really well-defined character, and it makes sense because it came from that book series. I never read the books, but, if you have sort of a template to go on, maybe in the first episode or 2 we already get a huge sense of the character, and we have that here, I think, probably in part because of those books. So yeah, for me, this is a real winner. I was chatting with my buddy Tim about this, who joined me in the fall for 2 episodes of TV News and Reviews, where we went over all of the new network broadcast shows. He said this was his favorite one of all the ones out there. We went over, I think there were 11 or 12 of them total. And I would have to say this is right up there for me as well. I gave out a couple of B pluses, and I really am teetering on an A- for this. It is just that good. And you know what? Since we haven't had anything above a B plus this whole season on broadcast, in terms of new shows, I am going to do it. I'm going to give Will Trent an A-. I think it probably is the best of the new shows. I mean, the ones I gave B plus to, East New York, Alaska Daily, Family Law, I did enjoy all of those, but there was, sort of 1 or 2 things I was like, oh, I don't know if I love that they did that, or maybe they could have tweaked this a little bit. I don't have a lot of that here for Will Trent. I mean, look, it's not reinventing the wheel. A police procedural is a police procedural, but I think the things that they're doing with it are different enough, and it's certainly more enjoyable to watch, I think, than a lot of those other ones. So yeah, let's do it. A- for Will Trent. All right, thanks so much for watching. I'll be back soon with maybe another TV review. I would like to get to that HBO show, The Last of Us, that is all the rage right now. I've never played the games, but maybe that's good, having sort of an outsider perspective on that show. But there's a whole lot of other shows to get to. But yeah, can't do the whole 5 or 6 new shows a week anymore. But hopefully you like the ones I pick out to do standalone reviews for. So all right, thank you for watching. We'll see everybody next time on Dan Reviews It. Bye.